The stranger on the train. It was a cold, rainy evening when Sarah boarded the last train home. She had stayed late at the office, exhausted and eager to get back to her apartment. The train station was nearly empty, except for a few scattered passengers. As she stepped inside the dimly lit carriage, she chose a seat by the window, watching the rain blur the city lights. Then she noticed him. A man sat across from her, his hood pulled over his head. His posture was stiff, and his eyes, piercing and familiar, were locked on her. A strange unease settled in her chest. She tried to focus on her phone, scrolling mindlessly. But every time she glanced up, his gaze hadn't shifted. And then he spoke. "You don't remember me, do you?" Sarah's heart skipped a beat. The deep, familiar voice sent a jolt of recognition through her. I'm sorry, do we know each other?" she asked cautiously. The man leaned forward slightly, his face now visible under the dim train lights. Sharp features, intense eyes, a faint scar along his jawline. "We used to be friends," he said, "a long time ago." Then it hit her. "Ethan," she whispered, her stomach twisting. He nodded. "You do remember." Memories flooded back. High school days, whispered conversations, and long walks home. Ethan had been quiet, always keeping to himself. He never fit in, but Sarah had been his only friend. Then one day, he was gone. No warning, no goodbyes. "They said you moved," she murmured. "I did, but not by choice." A pause stretched between them. The train rattled along the tracks, the rain drumming against the windows. Ethan sighed. "My family had issues. We had to leave overnight." Sarah frowned. "Why didn't you ever reach out?" He hesitated. "Because I wasn't the same person anymore." The train jolted as it slowed for the next station. A few passengers shuffled out. Now it was just the two of them. Ethan's gaze softened. "Are you still writing?" Sarah smiled. "You remember that? You wanted to be a novelist?" She laughed softly. "I still write, but mostly for work. Nothing thrilling." "You had a way with words," Ethan said. "That's a shame." A comfortable silence settled between them. The eerie stranger was gone. In his place was an old friend, one she thought she had lost forever. As the train neared her stop, she hesitated. "Ethan, maybe we could catch up properly?" He smiled. "I'd like that." Relief flooded through her. She gathered her bag, ready to leave, when she noticed something odd. Ethan's reflection in the train window looked wrong, distorted. She blinked. Was she imagining things? Shaking off the eerie feeling, she stepped off the train. The doors slid shut behind her. As the train pulled away, she turned back to wave. But Ethan was gone. Her stomach twisted. Where did he go? Brushing off the unease, she pulled out her phone and searched for him on social media. Nothing. No recent activity. No trace of him at all. A creeping sense of dread settled over her. Curious, she tried something else. She typed Ethan Carter into Google. What she found made her blood run cold. Local teen Ethan Carter goes missing. Family suspected foul play. Sarah's breath hitched. She clicked on the link, her hands trembling. The article was dated 10 years ago, the same time Ethan had disappeared. His family had vanished without a trace, and the case had gone cold. Her eyes scanned the last update, her heartbeat thundering. Authorities believe Ethan Carter was last seen boarding a late-night train, the same route Sarah took tonight. Her phone slipped from her fingers. Slowly, she turned back toward the tracks. The train was long gone, but a strange, hollow feeling settled in her chest. Had she just spoken to a long-lost friend? Or to someone who was never supposed to return? A gust of wind howled through the empty station, and for the first time that night, Sarah wished she had never taken the last train home.